We've been here almost 30 years. We love the wildlife. We have deer, we have black bear, we have cougar, and it just pleases us. We like the woods.
The Klamath Watershed Partnership is the watershed council for the Upper Klamath Basin. Our purpose is to work as a liaison, working with private landowners and finding funding sources to help them address ecological issues.
When we first bought the place, we didn't really know that much. We had been townies.
Non-industrial private landowners are looking to do what's in the best interest of the land. But what we found is a lot of times they don't know what that is. And these forests have been out of whack for over 100 years. You know, even when they were little, the forest was probably thicker than it should have been. And so there's an educational piece that we have worked into a lot of these projects. We've done workshops, we've done lots of outreach meetings to help these landowners understand that what they're seeing is not what should be out there. This is out of whack. This is the result of fire exclusion and lack of management.
So we started learning. We went to tree schools at OIT, water conservation people, they would come out. What are we looking at? What are you trying to accomplish? And they started pointing out the trees were very thick. And they said, that's not healthy. With more we looked, the more frightened we got about the fire danger.
A lot of the non-industrial private lands have been logged in the past, but since then have really not had a lot of management on them. And so a lot of cases, they have excessive growth of the underbrush.
The bitterbush was thick. It was like wall.
The bitterbrush, the overgrowth, the needle drape, that's another, I guess, side effect of fire exclusion.
And we saw an ad in the paper for a meeting to address fire safety in the woods. And Chuck goes, we're going there. They were talking about this fuels reduction program that they wanted to get done. They were looking for a grant. She worked her butt off to get that grant.
In the last few years, her workload has drastically increased with the fire load, post-fire recovery. A lot of Leanne's work was in the green tree thinning and helping landowners with forest health and overstock stands. And then since 2020 wildfires, 2021 with bootleg fire, she's been a prime resource for our landowners for technical support and then bringing great capacity to the landowners and the land itself of operators and that community, and then working hand in hand with the Department of Forestry. The plans for alternate practice, written plans, restoration work has been phenomenal.
We're able to come in as a non-regulatory, non-threatening partner for these private landowners and help educate them and start bringing them to the table and understanding what their forests could and should look like to be healthy and to reduce their wildfire risk.
Leanne called and said, we have the grant, we're going to do the fuels reduction program.
This project in particular was funded by the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board, and so they are funded by lottery dollars. This was a great package, being able to put 8 landowners together.
Leanne brought us so much information and gave her cell phone and said, I'll come out if you want me to come out, we'll talk about it. And we would read stuff, and then I'd call her and go, Leanne, what does that mean, blah, blah, right here, and we need to understand more what you're gonna do here. And she was just always available.
The smaller acreages, the 50 acres, the 80 acres, even the 160 acres, it's hard to attract a logger. So in terms of what is needed for forest health, that submergible, that non-commercial thinning component, there's not enough commercial to offset the cost of removing that material as well. And so these landowners are stuck.
She contracts with forestry, the loggers in the industry, local loggers, operators, from fence builders, post-fire restoration, tree planters, start to finish. She has a portfolio of local contractors that she works with, and she facilitates that. Great communicator, working with those folks to to dial in what the landowners are talking to her about, and then working through the technical side.
They have a great aspen stand on this property, and they really value that, and we really value that. And so where we found conifer encroachment into aspen stands, we worked to set that back, remove that. We also, with their meadow, we removed some of the conifers from the edge of that meadow to reduce that encroachment. The meadows and the aspen habitat are limited habitats here for wildlife and diversity on the landscape. And if those turn into a lodgepole pocket, then it's a great loss.
She worked across the board with landowners, different forest stands, from overstock lodgepole stands that have been hit with Pandora moth, sawfly, different bark beetle overstocking, to our post-fire, completely devastated stands set to zero, where site prep and reforestation is needed, and she's dove into all of that.
We were able to look at each tree, and so it was a real in-depth look at not just the forest as a whole and density as a whole, but also the relative health of every tree out there. If there were trees that were overstocked, that had beetle infestations, or we had many areas that had lodgepole with mistletoe, and where we found significant pockets of that, we really looked to remove those.
And they found a small area that was bug infected, and the logger and Leanne both come up and said, those need to go. And they hauled those out and burned them. So the bugs are gone.
We've seen that these areas have been very healthy since. We've reduced that density, we've reduced that stress. These trees will really start thriving.
Our forest is healthy because of what she introduced us to and helped us work out and get done. It's just, to me, is amazing.
Her ultimate goal is to deliver a great service to the landowners and the land itself, and you can really see that in the work she does.
I tell you, she's on our Christmas card list forever.